Evening, everyone. The last class we have discussed about the operators, data types, then types of operators we have completed. Now see the notes from page number 14. That is about the operators. Please go through them once and implement every concept with example so that you will understand. Then we started the discussion on the variable and its rules. We started the discussion on rules of the variable and what is a variable. These are the rules of the variable. This one we have discussed. Then what is the variable also we have discussed. This is completed. Now the next discussion is on the scope of the variable. We started the discussion. We started the discussion. We will see one by one example how it will be implemented in the PHP. Now the scope is there are three scopes are there in the PHP. One local scope, global scope, static scope. So actually the scope means access permission, accessing permission, you can say understand. For example, this is a boundary. Okay. Now in this boundary, there is one product is there. If you want to access this product from outside this boundary, which is not possible because this boundary is this is locked, and outside this boundary you can't access this product. Okay, but inside this you can access this product. So this is called permission, accessing permission to access any kind of data. Okay, this is defined with this code. That means to access the permission we have on it is defined by the scope. So like this, we have three scopes out there: local, global, and the static scope. Now let us see one by one what is local scope, what is global scope, and what is static scope. Now see local scope here. Now each variable is declared inside a function. Now see, this is a function. The function name is myLocal. Now this is the boundary of the function. Okay. This is a script of PHP script. Now this is a function name. The curly brace open it, close. Okay. Now what is saying? Each variable declared inside a function. Now find out what are the variables here. The name is a variable. Now this variable is inside this myLocal function. Now as per the local scope, what it is telling, each variable declared inside a function has a local scope. That means this variable, inside this variable, this value is stored. Okay. If you want to access this value outside this function boundary close. So from outside this function, with this function name, you are trying to access this value. Okay. That is not give the permission. It means that its access is restricted to that function only. So which access is then outside the function, which result in error. Okay. That means this is a function block, which is outside the function. This is a function block scope. Inside this scope, there is a variable. And this variable is having the value. You are trying to access this function, myLocal function, outside the function, which is not possible to access. That is what the local scope is talking about. Okay. That is a local scope. You can see the example here. Screenshot is there. You can see the example also. In this example, see, this is a function. The function, this is open and close. Now inside the function, there is a variable area is having a value. Okay. You see, this is a function calling outside the function block. Okay. So which we cannot access. Okay. So here is the value of local variable, which gives an error. Gives an error. Okay. Now this is a local scope. Now what is the global scope you see? The global scope means outside the function you can call any variable. Outside the function you can call any variable. And outside variable within the function also we can call. See once is the global scope. Now what the global scope is talking about? The variables declared outside a function have a global scope and can therefore only be accessed outside the function. Okay. Now let's see what is the function here. It's a PHP script. Inside PHP script, these are the variables. These are the variables. Okay. These are variables. And these variables we are trying to access. Okay, we are trying to access outside the scope. Now we'll see the example here. Global variable scope we'll see. We'll see the global variable scope. See, here the keyword we will use is global keyword. The global keyword. Okay. Now see this. These are the variables outside the function. Now this is the function. The function open and close. Okay. Or else we see the script here. Explore this. Now see the PHP script is open and close. Now inside the PHP script, now there is a function, my test is a function. This function, okay, this function boundary. Now this function is having x and y variable. See x and y variable. Okay, part. Yes, you can see. Now here we use the global keyword inside the function. The global keyword inside the function means these are the global variables inside the function. If you wanted to access, you have to use the keyword called global. Okay. Now this is This is a global keyword. We wanted to execute this. Let's execute this. You see, I'm removing the global keyword here. Global keyword I'm removing. Okay. Let's try to run. So we are getting an error. We are getting an error. Why means now these variables are declared outside the function. They are initialized and declared outside the function. But you are trying to access these variables inside the function. Okay. So when you're accessing them inside the function, you have to use the keyword called global. Okay. So now you can get global. See, put the value like this. Just want to verify once. Okay. Check it. Now, see. This is the global keyword. I can see next one, the static keyword. This one is the static keyword. See, the static keyword is generally is a keyword called static. So we use a keyword called static. So when we use this keyword, when example, when function completes its task, generally any function after completing its task, it will delete all of its variable. Okay. So sometimes what we want, we don't want to, we want a local variable which are not to be deleted. Okay. So we want the local variable to be further purpose. Okay. So in that case, we use the static keyword. Okay. We use the static keyword. See here, there's a function. There's a function script. This is logic. Now outside the function, we are calling the function my test. We have called this function 3 times. We have called. So okay. So here we are using the keyword called static keyword. Okay. Now each time the function is called, the variable still have the information it contained from the last time the function was called. Okay. Now we will run this program. We'll run this program. And see. Okay. See, first time it is called 0, 1, 2. All the 3 times we have called it, 3 times it is executed. Okay. Now let me do one thing. I will uh, I will remove this keyword called static. Static. Now execute it once again. So say it is calling OT or 0 only it is calling. Okay. So this is the static keyword. So these are the 3 types of scopes in the PHP. 3 types of scope in the PHP. That is the local scope, global scope, and the static scope. Static scope. Next concept is decision and control loops and control statements and the loops. Decision, control statements and the loops. Now see, in that the first one is we just note down these 3 types of decision making statements: if statement, if else statement, and else if statement. Just note down these three, which we will discuss one by one. these are the decision-making statements. We can also call control statements. So these decision-making statements will execute the logic based on uh, two conditions, true and false, true and false. So just see the it's a syntax and logic. Now say your statement C. See, this is a condition. When the condition is a true, when the condition is a true, it is executing the statement, control statement about it. But when the condition is a false, it is executing the next statement. Okay. See once, as you syntax here, it is a condition. When the condition is a true, it is executing this logic. If condition logic, it is executing. When the condition is false, it is executing another logic. So this is the if control statement. Example you see here. Example you see here date is there. This 22 is less than this 50. What is T contains? The T contains this one. Okay. If this condition is true, is executing this one, the ND events. Okay. This is a control statements. Okay. Control statements. Okay. See once. That's the control statement. Here control statement here. Here 5 greater than 3 is the condition. Is the condition is true or false? 5 is always greater than 3. Condition true. That means this statement will be executed. Okay. Now check it once. Okay. Make it some number 5 greater than 6. Become 1. Again, nothing is displayed because we have not written anything. When the condition false, what to be displayed? Okay. So that's the reason it is not displayed anything. The next control statement is equals control statement. Save control statement. Once equals control statement is having is a condition and else is a else condition. The condition is a true. The statement will be executed. If condition false, then the else block is executed. This is the else condition. So just with an if condition, we have not written any statement to be displayed if the condition is false. But here we are compulsory, we are maintaining one block that is called else block. When the condition false, it will display the else block. Okay. This example, you will take now see the T inside T, what is there? There is a date is there. So we are assigning some date. Is it less than 20 or not? We are checking. Okay, it's written what our group. So that means the condition is true. It is displayed the statement. Now let us the lesson 25. So that is lesson 29. And you understand? Now this time the condition is false. It is displayed the else the statement. It is written there. Okay. The next one is and else if statement. Else if else. Okay. If else block. That means we have so many multiple choices are there. Now see if condition is true, it will execute the statement. If the condition false, it will go to the else if it will check one more condition. And again, if the condition is, say, example of this, the condition true, it will execute the statement. The condition false, it will come here, go to one more condition, else if condition. Again, it will check here. If it is true, again it will execute the statement. And if it is false, it will to another else condition. Again, it will display whatever is written inside the else block. This is the uh, if and else if condition. Okay, this is control statements. Next one is switch statements, switch control statements. One switch control statement. So switch control statement here. See, there is a condition expression is there. Okay. The expression is true. It is displaying the corresponding case. Case 1, 2, 3, so on. Okay. That the expression is false, is going to the default condition. The default one. Now, see here, one example you see here. Here, this color is what? What is the value inside this? The red is there. Now we have in the cases we have one, two, three cases we have. Answer three cases. Which case is matching with this file which we write? A case, this case is matching. So what is written here? We have to place a red. Instead, we will now let us indicate it's a written, it's a written here. The yellow is not there in any case. Here red is there, blue is there, green is there. Okay, yellow is not there. So we have written the yellow. Let us see which one it will display. Brown is now we see your favorite color is neither red, blue, or not green. So where we have written the statement, we have written the statement in the default case. So when any case is not matching, when any case is not matching with this variable, this condition, it will go to the default condition, default case. Okay, in the default case, what will you write? That will be displayed. This is the switch case statement. This is the switch case statement. statement. So here this is the switch statement for flow chart. Now switch case is the case one is true, it will execute. The case two is true, it will execute this and take the break and come out of the statement. If the next case is repeat is true, it will enter the statement, take a break and come to the statement. So like this, the switch case statement will work. Okay. Next one is loops. Now loops, how many loops are there here? While loop is the while loop, for loop, and for each loop. Okay, so loops are there here. Many types of loops. Four loops are there. While loop, do while loop, for loop, and for each loop. I will see one by one. So what is the while loop here? So as part of while loop, it first it checks the condition. It checks the condition. Okay. If it is a true, it enters the loops and executes. Like this is the while loop syntax. Check the condition, display the block. See this example here. In this example, x less than or is equal to 9. X less than or is equal to 9. So what is inside x here? Inside x is 1. That means 1 less than or is equal to 9. The condition is 1. True. So that means it will display this statement. The number x is 1. What is inside this 1? Display. Again, after that, what we are doing, we are incrementing x value, x plus plus. That means 1 will become 2. Again, if we check the condition, 2 less than or equal to 9. Okay. Inside this x, the 2 is there. The condition is true. We display the statement like this. So to display statement like until you will display till 9. Will display till 9. So when it becomes 9, 9 less than or equal to 9. See, 9 is not less than 9, but it is equal to 9. 9 is equal to 9. That's why the statement is displayed. Now, after that, what that happens? It incremented. That means 9 plus 1 will become 10. Now, inside x value, what is the value now? 10. It comes here. 10 less than or equal to 9. From the condition false. So it will come out of the loop. Will come out of the loop. So this is the while loop statement. Statement. The next one is a do while. The do while. Now see what is the do while statement. The statement is executed at least once. Means here one statement is executed at least once in this case, this do while case. So after that, the program will execute as long as the condition remains valid. That means valid is true. So therefore, it is an exit control loop. Means that the loop is entered, the statement is executed, and then it checks the condition. So the example, Here, say to okay, entering into the loop. So that what she is doing, is checking the condition, while condition. Okay, checking the condition. An example you see here, and out of this program, on the check the out of this program, on the answer, out of this program, on the answer. Then the answer here, the statement one is executed, the number is one. So the number is one. So what the condition here? X less than or is equal to 7. That means it will print up to 7 statements. 1, 2, 3 up to 7. It will print up to 7. And after that, what it is doing, it's incremented. That means 7 plus 1, 8 will become 8. And it will check the condition 8 less than or is equal to 7, which is false. And it will exceed the loop. It will exceed the loop. That is the rule. That is the rule. It's coming to for loop. For loop, you see. There are three blocks are there in the for loop: initialization, condition checking, and implementer. These are the three blocks are there. The expressions are there. Three expressions. Now see here is the for keyword, the initialization, condition checking, implementer decree. Curly brace open, close. Now inside is the for loop body. Okay. Now see the example here. The example here. Here for loop initialization is what? X is equal to 0. Here condition is x less than or is equal to 10. Here the update statement is increment, post increment. So you can take the values. First and the x value is 0. The condition is for x less than or equal to 10. And the increment is what? Post increment, x plus x. So first we will print the value, then go for the input. So x value when it is 0, it is printed, then incremented 0 plus 1. Again, condition checking, x value 0, 1 and 1. 1 is printed. So like this, it will print up to 10. So when the value 10 will become incremented, means it will become 11. The condition is what? 11 less than or is equal to 10. The condition is false. So when the condition is false, it will come out of the loop. Okay, this is for loop. This is for loop. Okay. Next loop, you see the for each loop. Next loop, you see for each loop. Note down the syntax. See for each loop here. Now see for each loop is it generally it is so have to choose the value of an array. It is it's a syntax here. The array elements the value. And say example here for each loop the fruits as value. Okay. So it is printing the array elements. So it is printing the array elements. That is the for each loop. So this is all about the first unit completely. And there are the pair questions, summary questions are there. You can do all these questions. Like the three questions are there. There are four questions. Do all these questions programs. Look at these, you will understand. Now we'll move to next unit, second unit. Move to second unit. Second unit, we have the concepts called arrays and functions. Concepts called arrays and functions. These are the list of topics are there in the second unit. So what is an array? What is a one-dimensional array, two-dimensional array? How to read an element from the array? How to initialize an array? How to print an array? Okay. Then the functions are the what is a function? How to create a function? So why we use a function? So how to call a function? Okay. Then how to work with a function variable? Okay. So how to work with a references, recursive function. These all topics are there in this unit two. Okay. Now, what is the objective of this unit is we will understand array implementation in PHP. Okay. And you learn different types of arrays. And you know the detailed description about one-dimensional, two-dimensional arrays. Okay, that means types of arrays. And you will understand the implement functions in PHP. Okay. And you write the PHP functions on your own. You will understand the function using loops. Okay, these are the kind of objectives you will achieve after going through this, after reading this second unit. Okay. Now see the arrays concept now. Now what is arrays now? An organized map which contains similar type of values. Okay. Yes, if the values are 0, 2, so on. So all of these are natural numbers, belongs to natural number category. Okay, these are all similar values. So this is array. What is the syntax you see here? The array contains the value in the key value pair. It's the key and value like this. For example, you see, let's see this now. Here, these are the array items or array values you can call simple array values and the simple array items. Okay. So the most common are the string and numbers. Okay. But array items are actually objectives, functions, arrays. Okay. Now this is an example we check this. Okay. Now see here is a function. Here we are creating an array. So these are the array elements are there. And we are calling the array, then it's number, the next number, 3. This array function is Array functions. The array functions are like no count function is there in this count function. So what the real strength of PHP is built-in array functions. There are built-in array functions either. So the count function is one. So it will count many values are there here. Three types of some out three or three. Okay. How many values are there in the array now? That's how it is exploring. It is calculating through count function. Now that is that one or three. That is right here. Now we check again. Also here this is 4. So like this, if the count functions will calculate the array elements, number of array elements which are in array. That is the job of the count element, the count function. Like this, many functions are there. That's a response. Next one, what is indexed array here? Indexed array. Or else will see that the types of arrays here. Yes. Now see what is the advantage of using the arrays. One advantage is less code. Another advantage is what? Another advantage is less code and easy to parse or traverse. Okay. Yeah, next one is sorting. So we'll discuss one by one what it is. Yeah, these are the types of, these are the advantages of the array concept. Now next array is the next array. So next array. So in index array, each item has an index number. Each item has an index number. How it will have index number of rows? It is 0, it is 1. Okay. That's the index number. Okay. If you want to access these values, you have to access with this number. But something index number. Check here. This is 0, 1. Okay. Now let us write one more here. Now let us see here 0, 1, 2 is only there. Once again. Now the value we have got 3. So this is the value for this index number. Okay. Next one, how to access the index arrays. If you want to access this values, you have to use index number. Let me say here. We are writing the array name and we are writing the index number. In the 0th place, this value is there. So we change the value. Um, The second index The second index was the value, this value is kept. This is the 0, this is the 1, this is the 2, like this. So this is the index numbers. Two index numbers with matches the value. Now let us write one more value here. Let us check index number 4. Index number 4 value. The index number 4 is not there in the list. This is 0. This is 1. This is what we are trying to write into our fourth index, which is not there. Okay. So nothing is displayed here. Okay. Next one is how to change the value. How to change the value of the array. How to change the value of the array. C1. Here, there will be one first index. This value is there. But we are changing what? This value. Okay. Now check. Let us make it otherwise. We change. We place in zeroth index. The zeroth index value is the index of the variable for the value. Now see here. The zeroth index of 4 is the display. Replace this. Actual values what that the zeroth index was there. So we are changing the position of the. Now we are replacing the value, array value. We are able to change. We are able to replace or we are able to change the array value by using the index number. Okay. By using the index number. This is the way to change the index value. Okay. So this one is these examples we practice. Next one we will see. We see the types of arrays. You see what are the rules? The arrays we will see first. See here. So there are usually three types of dimensional arrays. Okay. So that is one-dimensional, two-dimensional, and multi-dimensional. You will see the one-dimensional array. So in one-dimensional array is represented with the arrays being called initially with a single index number. Okay. The index number is single. Here. Index number is okay. Share example here. We get example. So what are the rules for declaring one-dimensional array, single-dimensional array? So what are the kind of rules? So these are the array elements. These are the array elements. And these are the index numbers. These are the index numbers. So the size here 10. 0 to 9 means the count is what? 10. The count is what? 10. So that's why the size is what? 10. Okay. Now see the elements in one-dimensional array are declared with respect to the index of each array elements. Okay. Next one, the declaration can be any data type. Okay. That can be int, that can be float, that can be string, that can be boolean. like this. Okay. Now one-dimensional arrays can be represented in the form of brackets, square brackets. Okay. These are square brackets. That is square bracket. Now indexes are initialized with the 0. Example, in one-dimensional array, the elements are 10 in number. The index range starts from 0. So always in the computer science, the arrays always the index will start from 0. But in the mathematics, it is not like that. So counting will start from 1. Okay, this is one-dimensional array. So that means the dimension of this is 1. So next is two-dimensional array. Next is what two-dimensional array. That is an array's properties can be differentiated or categorized on the basis of the numeric or associated. What the numeric array is a set of elements in an array. The elements are represented in the form of integer, decimal, or float. So the two-dimensional array here, the 2D array represents a mix of data types. So that means we can mix the array values data types. That is, we can, so it has three different types of 2D array page. One is numeric array, one is associative array, one is multidimensional array. Okay. Now see this is numeric array. Here are the numerical values. Here are numerical values. Okay. Now see associative array. Associative array is contained the key value pair, key value pair, key value pair, and key value. So that means this is a key value, this is a key value, and this is a key value. So this is associative array. The next one is multi-dimensional array. So in this way, the representation, the elements are the rows and columns. Elements are in the what rows and columns. Now see here, the elements are in the rows and columns. This is a row, this is a row, this is a column, this is a column, this is a column, like this. So that is two-dimensional array. Okay. So how to read reading and initializing the array? So just now we have seen how to access an array. Okay. Here we see how to read an array. How we have changed the value of an array. You can see how to read an array. Okay. So this is any. So by with the key value pair, we are just able to see enter key value. Now see here this is array this index number. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3. So this value is associated with the index number 3. Okay. Here we are entering the key here. This is a key. This is a key. This is a key. And this is the value. Okay. This is a value. So this is a reading an array. Then changing the element value, changing of an array. So we have just see how to change an array. We have seen this array, this index number, and this new value. This is a new value. So in place of index number 2, what is our old value now? This is 0, this is 1, this is 2. Now currently what we are we are entering new value, Mars. So this is how to change the value of an array. How to change the value of an array. That is also called adding an element. So elements can be added to an array as given. Okay. So here 0, 1, 2, 3. Fourth is not there. We are adding here. The planets 4. Here we are adding fourth element. And next one is removing an array. Can say remove and allow to remove an array. Next symbol we have seen. Seen array we have seen. Removing an array. So to remove an array. You can say to remove an array, what we are using here. To remove an existing array. Existing item from an array. We can use the array splice function. Or the function SPLS splice function will not apply. So we are using the splice function and after that array name. Okay. Let's see. Let's see here. So what we are removing here, just divide index always there. That is as it is. Next one. Try that in second case. And this we have removed. So this is how to remove an array. So after multiple items, multiple array items. By using the array splice function. Array splice function is there. Click on it. Get the multiple arrays. 1 and 2 we are removing. That means these two we are removing. Okay. Now let's see one from available. Let's make it. That means we are able to remove these two. Click on. That is array splice function. Array splice function it is. Now how to remove associative array from the memory. Associative array. Let's say this is now the key value pair. So key value pair. You can see here we are in key and value. This is associative array. And using the array differ function to remove the last item, how to remove the last item. That function is array pop. Array pop function will remove the last item from an array. So this is a function array pop. Okay. When you remove the first item, we use array shift. Okay. Array shift. Remove the first item. For example, we will see here. Array shift. We are removing first item. The beginning of is there. See here, this is there, and fire there is there. And without always what is not removed. So because of this array shift function. Okay. Now, remaining all functions we do practice, all the various functions related to practice. We'll understand the remaining concepts in the next class. We'll understand the remaining concept in the next class.